Hey, this is Jeff McLeod back. I'm just having lunch with a bunch of other volunteers, and there's a whole bunch of people who are here today who are helping out. There's a lot of staff members. For the Children's a pretty big organization, I think over 300 staff members now, and then there's tons of volunteers helping out. So you can see like all the people here. We're up top in the suites having lunch, and you can see that there's like tons of people breaking to grab some food right now, and like all the way down. And while I was sitting here having lunch, I bumped into one of the top speakers from Free the Children, Michel Chikwinane. Did I say that right? Did I say that right?
You did, actually.
Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Free the Children.
Actually, very strangely, in high school, grade 12 in 2007, I was graduating out of high school. Then one of the speeches, one of my teachers just approached me saying, you know, we have this huge event that Mark Kilberger is speaking at. I've never heard of the Kilbergers before. I mean, I was coming straight from Africa. I really had no idea what I was doing in Canada. And she gives me this book, and the book is Finding Meaning in the Material World. Read through the book, interesting stories. I mean, I love the book. Yeah. And she gave me this T-shirt, the Be the Change. It was a black Be the Change T-shirt, and she said, at the event, go wearing this. Now, at this event, they invited 16 students from all the Catholic high schools in Ottawa, because I went to St. Patrick's Catholic High School there. And we went to this event, Ottawa University. All these students, most of them girls, are just swooning, like, oh my god, I can't
this
see
is
Mark,
awesome.
Mark. I'm standing there thinking, who is this Mark Kilberger guy that everybody wants to see? And I sat down in the audience, and Mark started speaking. I mean, incredible speaker.
Yeah.
The one story, though, that captured the moment of why I'm involved to this day, he started telling a story about Santosh, a boy they met in Sierra Leone, and told the story about how Santosh just literally actually ran, with miles, only with his hand was cut off because he stood up for his community, in his school. And this boy his hand was cut off so to prevent him from ever carrying a gun, and ran off but survived. And went off to a UN camp where they met him, and they asked Santosh, Santosh, I mean, that must have been the hardest thing for you to do, to actually raise your hand so that, you could stand up for a community. And Santosh said, no, that was not the hardest thing I did. The hardest thing I did was actually meeting the person who cut off my right hand, extend my left hand to shake his right hand as a sign of peace.
Wow.
And that story captured why I got involved. Right after the speech, I ran over to Mark and said, I want to talk to you seriously. I loved your story. But there was this huge lineup again of teachers and girls who wanted to meet Mark. And I decided that if I stay in this line, I'm not going to meet him. So I jumped out of that. I went up behind the booth where Mark was, and I was wearing a black BG shirt. He was wearing the same T-shirt. So I pretended I was working for the organization. And I tapped his shoulder. I was like, Mark, I need to meet you. So he talked to me after that and invited me to come to Toronto and become a speaker.
That's
and
cool.
That's how I involved. So 4 years ago.
So Mitch has a very, very touching, unique story. If you haven't heard it before, I'll let you tell. Just like Cole's notes to he comes from. Where are you from?
I'm from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and my story, like many people's stories, a lot of people have gone through war. Especially in the continent of Africa. My story really starts off when I was 5, and I had a pretty normal life, and at that time my country wasn't at war. It was just the beginning of the war, and the ending of the Rwandan genocide literally spilt over into the eastern part of the Congo, and that's where my family was situated.
Yeah.
And these rebel soldiers came in and they captured a lot of kids, and unfortunately I became a child soldier for thankfully, at least for 2 weeks, when most people go for years and years. But for me, miraculously, for 2 weeks, and I managed to escape out of this. And I went back home, and it was a really hard transition from being a child soldier back into a normal life, because I was drugged when I was a kid, manipulated, and many different things that went on. Thankfully, I survived, and we had a pretty normal life after that. But eventually, the war started taking over Congo. In 1998, my family and I had to leave our own home, our own time, with no clothes, with no food, literally looking over our shoulders, thinking we were going to get killed.
Wow.
Ran over into another country, Uganda, which is the east of Congo, and stayed in a refugee camp. For years and years, we stayed in this refugee camp, for a year, and then moved over into Kampala. So we're literally hiding in another country for our own lives, trying to survive every day. And thankfully, we had managed to survive. My family and I were eventually given a way out of the continent of Africa by the help of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. And I came here January 21st, 2004. One of the days I'll never forget in my life. Yeah.
That's awesome, Mitch. So, Mitch, like you've been a speaker for Free the Children for quite a while, and you spoke at the last few Wee Days. You're going to be on stage again this year, but you're not speaking, right?
Yeah, this year I am not speaking. I'm going to leave you a little bit of a surprise. It's
Okay.
going to be a quick get-together panel of a discussion about peace. And it's going to be a really cool discussion with Betty Williams and Dr. Abouesh. And actually, he told me how to pronounce his name is Dr. Abouesh. Hope I get that right. But he's a really great guy. I met him a couple of times, and certainly an interesting person to give his actually opinion on peace as well.
What are you looking forward to the most tomorrow? Is there anyone that you want to meet who's going to be speaking? Is there anything that you want to see or
Honestly,
do?
very honestly, I honestly just want to see the youth who have done so much to help with Free the Children. Not only that, to just see the work that all the staff at Free the Children really just, putting in countless hours, sleepless nights to make this event such an amazing event for everybody, and I just can't wait to see.
You know what? Just to point that out, how hard the staff is working here. Mitch, you were working with everybody last night. What time were you guys here? You guys were here, right?
We're here from. We came here yesterday from 6 a.m. We left around midnight. So I went to sleep by 1 a.m. and then I had to wake up again at 5 to actually go to start over again at 6:30 again for today to make sure that everything's ready.
Wow.
And so everybody, literally, at the whole staff, we've been doing this for months. It's been a plan for months, like hours and hours been put into this event, and I really just can't wait to see the whole work being actually put in place and all of it working together.
So cool. Thanks so much for taking the time, Mitch. I appreciate it.
Yeah.